All right, we're back. We're going to continue talking about this animation preview. And it's actually a preview of the first 10 frames. But I am previewing at the full 1920 by 1080 resolution using this excellent piece of software called DJV. Now, we moved through the scene and we were looking at, what was it, motion, animation events, lighting, and coloring, okay? Now there's a couple things that I noticed here I don't really like. Now whether or not I'm going to fix it or not, I don't know. But there is one area I don't like here. You see this darker area right here? All right? That's basically shadowing. But if you look at this, I don't like the ugly grayness. It's just like right in here. It's like a washed out gray. All right, now I know what that is. That's my fog. All right, what's happening is that the fog setting has actually been impacted by shadowing. All right, let me scroll somewhere else here. Let's see if I can find another location. Okay, let's go right here. Look at this. Now this is fog. All right, that grayish area right in here, that's fog. And if you recall, way back in the sessions when I was actually dialing in the fog, I was looking for some sort of an effect that would give me a sense of far distant, where visually the details roll off. And you can do that pretty nicely with fog. All right, so what I did here is I put a fog effect in here, but this fog effect in shadowing is not playing well. So this fog is almost a little bit too much, or the shadowing is a little bit too much. I could address this with either modifying the fog in my scene or modifying the shadowing. Let's look somewhere else here. All right, let's take a look at this. Now, this is fog, you see, right in here. You see the kind of the grayish look? You see, that's fog. Now, fog has a tendency to dampen the colors. And that's what you want. You want that. Okay, now this fog right up in here is rather intense and is tending to dampen. It's tending to dampen the coloring. Here the fog right in here is basically washed everything out. So what I may have here is a situation of too much fog, or I should say the density of my fog is too high. Okay? Now let's scrub somewhere else. I mean, you know, if I want this flaring effect off here, which is actually pretty cool, because that flaring effect is suggesting to the viewer that there's the scene goes way off into the distance, and that's epic. That's vista. That's pretty cool. All right. But my fog effect here is just washing out all of the detail in that background, which is not too bad. But it also has a tendency to impact the foreground as well. So somehow I want to be able to retain this far out feeling without damaging my foreground. Certainly one way I can do that is to decrease the density of the fog. All right, and as if you recall, I also have a far fog and I also have a fog offset, which is how close to the camera. So there's ways of dealing with this by modifying the fog. Let's scrub around a little bit more. Yeah, looking at this right here. You see this? This whole area here is just so fogged up. It's not really that great. Now, whether or not my viewers are going to actually see that, I don't know. Maybe. How often do you have anybody that will take your animation work and stall it like this and freeze it and start inspecting every little detail? You're probably never going to have that unless maybe you're trying to sell the animation to license it for somebody to put it into a movie scene where they want absolute perfection and they want the ability to scale it up or scale it down without it losing quality. Yeah, something like this, I don't think anybody's going to license your animation for their broadcast. Maybe somebody will mix it in their own maybe YouTube personal project, but you'll never be able to sell that, license it. All right, but that's not the point. It doesn't matter whether you want to license or not. What matters is, are you happy with that? I'm not happy with it. I'm just not happy with that. All right. I'm going to fix that. And I'm going to fix that by decreasing the density of the fog, even though I will have an impact on this far fog. I don't think I need it that intense. Now, I can go in there and I can decrease this fog effect, and I can apply that to all of the frames. And I want to do that before this session is out. But I just let you know that I've already rendered these 1,800 frames out, and so any change that I have in any fog here isn't going to be reflected in this particular sequence of rendered frames. But I can re-render again. Listen, I'm only 10 frames in. I'm only 1,800 subframes into this project. I can afford to have my PC render this stuff overnight. I can afford that. What I can't afford, or don't want to afford, is having 30,000 frames where I find this problem. So I think you get the point. So let's modify. We got another minute or two left here in this session. No, I don't want to squeeze this on time. We're going to save that for a minute. We're going to save the modifying and reapplying to all of the keyframes the fog for the next session. All right, let's do this. Let's take the minute or so we have left on this session, and I'm going to go all the way back to the beginning, and I want to run this one more time. We're looking for motion, animation events, lighting, and coloring. Okay, with a little bit more insight here into this scene with those 4 attributes in mind. Let's run it again, then we'll end this session. Here we go. I liked everything about it. Right in here, we seem to kind of speed up. Let me do that. Right there. Oh, and then we kind of come to a slight almost stop. Not realistic if you were a plane. You don't fly along and then slow down. Well, maybe you do. Fly along, slow down, then go again. So that right there was a little bump. Will anybody see it? Probably not. Is it worth fixing? Well, maybe. It really depends upon me. But the one thing I want to do, one thing that I want is I want to fix this fog. Okay? So we're going to do that. We're going to do that in the next session. All right, so I'll see you there.